I'm about to reveal the exact blood pressure ranges that are actually safest for adults over 60, and why chasing the old standard might be doing you more harm than good. Many older adults experience sudden dizziness, unexplained fatigue, or a feeling of weakness when standing up, completely unaware that these are often signs their numbers are simply too low. I remember a woman named Margaret, who was 71 years old and terrified of having a stroke, so she aggressively forced her top number down. She ended up fainting in her kitchen because her doctor might have been telling her wrong information about what is truly healthy for her age. Before we dive in, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what's your blood pressure numbers. I want to hear your experience. 1. Adjust your target numbers based on recent medical understandings of how the aging body distributes blood to the brain and vital organs. Allowing your systolic pressure, which is the top number, to rest slightly higher than the old standard of 120 can actually protect you from dangerous falls and ensure your brain receives enough oxygen-rich blood throughout the entire day. Arthur came to see me because he was terrified when his readings hovered around 140 and he felt constantly dizzy and tired. His mistake was strictly trying to force his numbers down to 115 based on old advice, which was starving his brain of adequate circulation and causing severe lethargy. Once he understood that a slightly higher top number is often considered much safer for a 68-year-old, he relaxed his extreme restrictions and completely regained his daily energy. Recent studies have clearly demonstrated that pushing blood pressure too aggressively low in older adults dramatically increases the risk of fainting, confusion, and bone fractures from sudden falls. As our blood vessels naturally lose some of their elasticity and stiffen with age, the heart simply requires a little more pressure to push the blood effectively upward against gravity to reach the brain. To safely apply this knowledge, you should have an open, calm conversation with your healthcare provider about adjusting your personal goal range based on your specific age, daily mobility, and overall health status, rather than blindly aiming for the numbers of a 20-year-old. If you have chest pain, fainting, severe shortness of breath, or one-sided weakness, seek emergency care, but for daily management, a steady, moderate number is the true goal. This supports steadier readings and a much safer daily routine for your entire body. 2. Measure your numbers using a strict, calm protocol at home to avoid false high readings that lead to unnecessary panic and incorrect medical adjustments. Creating a consistent, relaxing environment for your daily checks prevents the sudden spikes caused by movement, talking, or improper equipment use, giving you a true, reliable picture of your cardiovascular health. Miriam was a 72-year-old woman who was incredibly anxious about her morning readings, which always seemed dangerously high right after she woke up. Her mistake was checking her numbers immediately after getting out of bed, talking to her husband during the reading, and using a wrist monitor that was completely inaccurate for her arm size. Once she switched to a properly fitted upper arm cuff, waited 5 full minutes in a seated position before pressing the button, and remained completely silent, her numbers dropped directly into a safe, normal range. Your body naturally experiences a surge in blood pressure when you first wake up and begin to move around, and even the simple act of talking, holding your breath, or crossing your legs can artificially inflate the top number by 10 to 15 points. To get an accurate reading, empty your bladder first, sit in a comfortable chair with your back supported, and keep your feet flat on the floor uncrossed. Rest your bare arm on a table at chest height so the blood pressure cuff is exactly level with your heart, and sit in total silence for at least 5 full minutes before starting the machine. Wait 1 full minute and take a second reading, then average those 2 numbers together for the most accurate result to write down in your logbook. If you use insulin or glucose-lowering medication, always check your readings carefully, because changes in food or daily activity can affect both your blood sugar and your blood pressure. Taking these precise steps ensures you are not making health decisions based on temporary, artificial spikes. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss these simple, daily adjustments that protect your health. 3. Practice a 5-minute rhythmic breathing reset before checking your numbers, or whenever you feel a wave of anxiety about your daily health. Engaging your diaphragm with slow, deep breaths directly signals your nervous system to relax, which immediately widens your blood vessels and lowers the pressure against their walls within a matter of minutes. John, a 65-year-old retired teacher, always had high numbers at the doctor's office due to white coat syndrome, and he would begin to panic at home the moment the cuff squeezed his arm. His mistake was holding his breath and tensing his shoulders out of fear, which only drove his systolic number higher and created a vicious cycle of anxiety and elevated readings. He learned to implement a gentle, structured breathing pattern for 5 minutes before even touching the blood pressure machine, and his pre-test anxiety vanished, resulting in a much lower and accurate top number. When we feel stressed or anxious, our bodies automatically release hormones that tighten the blood vessels and make the heart beat faster, but slow, intentional breathing manually overrides this stress response. To do this at home, sit comfortably in your chair, close your eyes, and inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, feeling your stomach expand outward like a balloon. Hold that breath gently for just 2 seconds, and then exhale very slowly through pursed lips, like you are softly blowing out a candle for a count of 6. Repeat this simple cycle for 5 full minutes, allowing your shoulders to drop away from your ears and your muscles to loosen with every single long exhale. Most older adults can try this safely, as it requires absolutely no physical exertion and is completely gentle on the joints and the heart. This simple habit helps keep the blood vessels relaxed and supports much steadier daily readings without any extra medication. Comment your age and your usual top number range down below so we can see how much these numbers vary across our community. 4. Maintain a consistent and steady intake of pure water throughout the early part of your day to keep your overall blood volume perfectly stable. Chronic mild dehydration causes your blood to become slightly thicker and more concentrated, forcing your heart to pump much harder to push it through your circulatory system, which directly drives up your pressure. Betty was a 74-year-old grandmother who experienced erratic, confusing blood pressure swings, especially in the late afternoons when she felt most sluggish and fatigued. She intentionally avoided drinking water all morning and afternoon because she did not want to have to use the restroom frequently when she went out to run her daily errands. By slowly introducing a measured amount of water each morning and sipping consistently until the early afternoon, her blood volume normalized, and her daily readings became remarkably stable and predictable. When your body senses that it is lacking adequate fluids, it actually retains sodium and constricts your blood vessels to maintain enough pressure to keep you upright. But this survival mechanism often overshoots and causes hypertension. To properly hydrate without disrupting your nighttime sleep or causing excessive bathroom trips while you are out, aim to drink a full glass of water about 30 minutes after you wake up, before you have any coffee or tea. Keep a designated water bottle on your kitchen counter and make it a daily goal to finish it slowly by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, taking small sips rather than gulping large amounts at once. If you have been told by your doctor to restrict your daily fluids due to heart failure or severe kidney issues, please be cautious and consult them before changing your water intake. For most people, however, drinking adequate water keeps the blood flowing smoothly and easily through the entire body. This is a very simple change that supports a much healthier heart workload. 5. Evaluate your daily intake of hidden sodium by carefully checking the nutritional labels on common pantry items that you might not even realize are affecting your blood pressure levels. Reducing the invisible load of sodium on your kidneys is one of the most effective long-term strategies for maintaining a stable and healthy reading without having to make drastic, stressful changes to your entire diet overnight. Susan was a 67-year-old woman who had stopped using her salt shaker entirely, yet she was confused as to why her evening blood pressure readings were still reaching concerningly high levels every single day. Her mistake was relying on heart-healthy canned vegetable soups and store-bought whole wheat bread, which she believed were safe choices but were actually packed with massive amounts of hidden sodium used as a preservative. Once she started comparing labels and chose lower sodium alternatives while seasoning her meals with fresh herbs and lemon juice instead, her daily evening spikes stopped occurring and her pressure stabilized. When you consume more sodium than your body needs, your kidneys struggle to filter the excess, which causes your body to hold on to extra water to dilute the salt in your bloodstream. This extra fluid increases the total volume of your blood, which creates significantly more pressure against the walls of your arteries and makes your heart work much harder with every single beat it takes. To do this correctly at home, take a moment to look at the sodium line on the back of your favorite bread, cereal, or canned goods and try to find options that contain less than 140 milligrams per serving. You can slowly replace one high-sodium item in your pantry each week with a fresher or lower sodium version, so that your taste buds have time to adjust to the natural flavors of your food. Be cautious about using salt substitutes that contain potassium, as these can sometimes interfere with certain medications or kidney conditions, so it is always best to check with your pharmacist first. This supports a much lighter workload for your heart and keeps your daily readings within a much more predictable and comfortable range for your age. If you have a favorite salt-free seasoning or a specific herb blend you use to make your meals more flavorful, please share it in the comments below, as it might help someone else in our community. Many seniors find that garlic powder, onion powder, or even a squeeze of fresh lime can completely replace the need for added salt while still making every meal enjoyable and satisfying. It is important to remember that these small daily choices add up over time and create a much more resilient cardiovascular system that is not as sensitive to temporary dietary changes. I have seen so many people like Susan find relief simply by becoming more aware of what is truly inside the packaged foods they have been buying for many years. Making this one simple adjustment to your grocery shopping routine can lead to much more consistent and favorable results when you sit down to take your daily measurements. This is another easy change that most older adults can try safely without feeling like they are missing out on the foods they love. 6. Establish a consistent and calming nighttime routine to ensure your body experiences the natural nighttime dip in blood pressure that is essential for long-term heart health and recovery. Quality sleep allows your nervous system to shift out of its active state and into a restorative mode, which naturally lowers your heart rate and allows your blood vessels to relax and widen while you are resting. Robert was a 71-year-old man who found that his blood pressure was consistently highest in the early morning, which made him feel anxious and on edge for the rest of his day. He had fallen into the habit of staying up very late watching loud, fast-paced action movies on television and sleeping in a room that was often too warm and brightly lit by streetlights outside. Once he created a dark, quiet wind-down routine that began 1 hour before bed and kept his bedroom at a cool, comfortable temperature, his morning blood pressure readings dropped significantly and his overall mood improved. Recent studies have shown that adults over 60 who do not experience a 10 to 20% drop in their blood pressure during sleep, known as non-dipping, may have a higher risk of cardiovascular strain over time. This natural dipping process acts like a nightly reset button for your entire circulatory system, giving your heart a much-needed break from the higher pressures required during your active daylight hours. To encourage this at home, try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on the weekends, to help regulate your body's internal clock and hormonal balance. Avoid looking at bright screens like phones or tablets for at least 60 minutes before you plan to sleep, as the blue light can interfere with the production of melatonin, which is the hormone that helps your body prepare for rest. If you often find yourself waking up multiple times to use the restroom, try to finish your last large drink of water about 2 hours before you go to bed so your sleep is less interrupted. This simple focus on rest supports much steadier morning readings and helps you start every day feeling refreshed rather than worried about your health. Make sure to subscribe for more simple senior health tips so you can continue to build a toolkit of easy habits that protect your heart and your independence. Many people overlook the importance of the environment they sleep in, but for a senior, a quiet and dark room is one of the most powerful tools available for managing blood pressure naturally. When your body feels truly safe and relaxed, your arteries can finally let go of the tension they have held throughout the day, which allows for much smoother blood flow and less resistance. It is also helpful to keep a small notepad by your bed so that if you have any worries or tasks on your mind, you can write them down and let them go until the morning. I remember how much Robert appreciated the simplicity of this change, as it did not require any new equipment or complicated instructions, just a commitment to his own rest. This is a very gentle way to support your heart that is easy on the joints and beneficial for your entire mind and body. 7. Incorporate a gentle 15-minute stroll shortly after your largest meal of the day to help your body manage its blood sugar and blood pressure levels more effectively. Light movement after eating encourages your muscles to pull glucose from your bloodstream and triggers the release of natural substances that help your blood vessels dilate and flow more easily. Thomas was a 75-year-old man who believed he had to engage in heavy, exhausting exercise like jogging or lifting heavy weights to keep his heart healthy, which often left his knees aching and his body feeling stressed. His mistake was pushing himself too hard, which actually caused temporary spikes in his pressure and made him want to avoid physical activity altogether, because it felt like a chore. Once he switched to a simple, leisurely walk around his neighborhood for just 15 minutes after lunch, his joints felt much better, and his daily blood pressure readings became remarkably consistent. When you move your legs in a rhythmic, gentle way, your calf muscles act like a second heart, helping to pump blood back up toward your chest and reducing the amount of work your heart has to do on its own. This type of low-impact activity is perfect for seniors because it provides all the cardiovascular benefits of movement without the high risk of injury or the physical stress associated with more intense workouts. To do this safely, wear comfortable shoes with good support and choose a flat, even surface like a sidewalk or a local park path where you feel confident in your footing. If the weather is poor, you can even walk slowly through the hallways of your home or do some light seated leg lifts while you are listening to music or watching a program. If you have chest pain, fainting, severe shortness of breath, or one-sided weakness, seek emergency care. But for most older adults, this level of light movement is a safe and effective daily habit. This simple practice of post-meal walking is one of the most reliable ways to keep your circulation moving and prevent the sluggishness that many people feel after eating a full meal. It is not about how fast you go or how many miles you cover, but rather about the consistency of getting your body moving and helping your blood vessels stay flexible and responsive. I have found that patients who adopt this habit often report feeling more clear-headed and energetic throughout the afternoon, which makes it much easier to stay active in other areas of their lives. Remember that your goal is to support your body's natural processes, not to fight against them with extreme or painful measures that are difficult to maintain. By choosing the best blood pressure range for your age and supporting it with these gentle habits, you are taking the most important steps toward a long, vibrant, and healthy life. This approach ensures that you are managing your health with wisdom and care, rather than falling into the trap of outdated or generalized advice. If you know someone over 50 who could benefit from this, share this video and subscribe for more simple senior health tips.